Newz reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So Trump did it, despite the dying wish, or supposed dying wish, of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who just died at age 87 just over a week ago. Her request being, not to pick anybody to replace me until after the election. Well, Trump nominated Amy Coney Barrett. This is a federal appeals court judge, former Notre Dame law professor, former clerk for the late Justice Antonin Scalia, huge right-wing dude who, died a few years ago while Obama was still president. Infamous for being publicly pro the Citizens United ruling. And I say publicly pro, I mean anybody who's on the Supreme Court, we know what they vote in. But he was actually interviewing about it, speaking on it or whatever, and it kind of made corruption legal, where you could donate to these companies, and because companies are people too, you don't have to know where they're getting their money from. And basically anybody could back a candidate and nobody has to exactly know where all of the money is coming from. But nevertheless, this woman has a history of voting on the right wing, having conservative votes with regards to gun laws, abortion rights, LGBTQ stuff. And the Senate, the Republican-controlled Senate, is just trying to go ahead and move on in ASAP. I mean, they're going to have trials for her and seeing whether she should be one or not as early as October 12th. So, and luckily it's a woman. No rape case. Luckily for the Republicans, no rape cases probably will come up, you know what I mean? And if one does, that'll be a very entertaining thing to talk about with y'all. But nevertheless, people are calling on Democratic leadership all around the country to do whatever they can in their power to stop it. Because with this hearings going on as early as October 12th, she could actually be in before the November 3rd elections. And we have to worry about the Republicans trying to invalidate the ballot box and just so they could take the election to the Supreme Court. Her being at the Supreme Court would make it 6 conservative judges versus 3 typically liberal-leaning judges. So, all votes, anything that Trump wants or anything that these Republicans want is going to go towards them if it goes to the Supreme Court. That could be disastrous. Nevertheless, you have people, like I said, protesting all over the country, and right now the House Democrats are pushing for a bill that'll actually limit the lifetime appointment of a Supreme Court justice to 18 years. So we'll see how that turns out. It's always been for, however long you want it to be. Ruth Bader Ginsburg died at 87, after being appointed back in 93. You know what I'm saying? So, but nevertheless, we'll see how that turns out. Green Wall and graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Make sure you support the movement by going to blackfoxnews.com/shop and get you some gear with the BFN logo on it, man. Or you can get Stop the KKK line, the Still I Grind line that I got for my album, whatever difference, paraphernalia, or all different color shapes and sizes. There's something there that'll match your swag. You know what I mean? And make sure you, support the movement as we support y'all. Raise the consciousness level of those around you as well with that Voice for the People logo on you. You know what I mean? Definitely check out the opportunities pages for all my hustlers out there. blackfoxnews.com/opportunities. It's all sorts of advertising deals and things that we got set up to where, we could build. Let's work, let's build. You know what I'm saying? And you could get your product on a lot of different platforms that we deal with. Now check this out though. At the same time, you actually have Donald Trump getting exposed by this New York Times explosive report, saying that he only paid income tax during 5 of the last 15 years. So that's 10 years out of the last 15 where he paid 0 income tax. And even in 2016 and apparently 2017, he only paid $750 in income tax. You know what I'm saying? I pay more than that. If you got a job, you pay way more than that or whatever. This man's a proclaimed billionaire and all of that, even though we know he lied to get onto that Forbes list initially or whatever and does some shady dealings. But check this out. Here's how he was able to avoid taxes. Apparently he was, he claimed massive losses across all of his businesses. So that just shows he's not successful. You know what I'm saying? Including the businesses like his golf courses and the freaking his hotel in DC or whatever. So when he's talking that whole I'm actually losing money being president, believe me. I mean, it's not all the way wrong, but he ain't been president for the last 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, this dude's shady. At the same time, now one thing he did that actually is smart and said to be recommended to do stuff like this or whatever He also claimed that Ivanka Trump, he paid her consultant fees, so he was able to get that money back or whatever on some company shit for the stuff she was doing as a Trump organization. The only reason it's shady, and I don't know how legal that is because like she like represents and partially owns the Trump organization. So I don't know how that works, but nevertheless, there are a lot of, and also got to keep in mind what they also expose is that he is in a dispute with the IRS over a $73 million tax credit that he claimed for his casino business tanking in Atlantic City, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, if he loses that dispute, he could end up having to cough up $100 million. You know what I mean? It ain't easy to get your hands on $100 million. I don't give a fuck how rich you is. You know what I'm saying? It'll take some time. Nevertheless, even the Koch brothers, they get $1 million an hour, so it would take them 100 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, you also have he also has said that there's $300 million in loans that he's already promised to pay back, whatever. So, you know, I think dude broke, as I tried to talk to y'all about before. He's caused the whole New York Times Streets Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So, protests is still going on in Louisville, Kentucky over the impunity that came with the murder of Breonna Taylor at the hands of police. Now, on Saturday, 24 protesters were actually arrested, whatever. You know, everybody's up in arms because this was a 26-year-old EMT worker who wasn't dealing with the drug game or nothing like that, but because of what happened with her, because her ex-boyfriend was in a gang, basically, and they made these reports and used all of this data to end up pouncing on her home as if like there was some drug money in there or whatever. Like, you know, they barged into her door, her boyfriend busts back with a legal firearm, thinking somebody's just intruding in the house. They start shooting, and you know, she gets killed. 26-year-old black woman, man, it's fucked up. So on Friday, Bianca Austin, her aunt, actually read a letter from Tamika Palmer, Breonna Taylor's mother, basically saying like, you know, she's angry, you know, not for the reason that you would think, sorry, but you know, because black women keep dying at the hands of police and black men. You know what I'm saying? That's a powerful statement. Nevertheless, Vice News actually got their hands on and released this body cam footage from the officers that show that there were several department policies that were violated, which leads to like some questions about like the integrity of the whole crime scene and the investigation and the whole integrity of the whole grand jury decision. You know what I'm saying? Which people have been saying, you know, shout out to my song, you know what I mean, shout out to Tamika Valerie, them people at Until Freedom and all of that, whatever. Like, they've been frontline and they've been saying this shit in public. So, you know, honestly, people like Charles Barkley and all of that, people that speaking on it and don't know all of the facts inside out, need to shut the fuck up. For real, for real. Bring more Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Make sure you build a profile, blackfoxnews.com/LPAI. That's LPAI. It's an acronym for Let's Post About It. It's actually a forum where we can all go on and actually build and talk about whatever it is. I mean, you can do the sports and the business and all of that or whatever, but it's some real important topics that we need to talk about as a community, whether it's the black community, the hip-hop community, the Africana community, or the American community. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't excluding white people. It's called Black Fox News at the end of the day. We're the antithesis of Fox News, so we're not, you know, we're exclusionary only to the point that it's like necessary for our existence. But at the end of the day, we welcome all people to come in and join in these dialogues or whatever. We can have some meaningful conversation. You can actually share documents, videos, unlike way more than all of these other social media platforms. Go ahead, build a profile on there. You know what I'm saying? We could actually get to this nation building that we need to be doing as a people. Now, check this out though. In the United States, COVID-19 infection rate has actually topped 7.1 million. You know what I'm saying? Now, this with a lot of like rising cases, especially in the Midwest. Now, at the same time, there was this a report published by the journal called The Lancet. This is the same journal, for those who don't know, that had put out that false info about hydroxychloroquine, basically saying that it was ruling it that it was dangerous, and they had to retract that report. You know what I mean? So that's a win for the Republicans. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the Atlanta actually put out this info saying that only 9% of the country has actually been exposed to the virus, which means that most of the country, 91%, is still susceptible to actually being affected by it. Like you don't have any sort of immunity to it or whatever. So people should still be on the lookout, or at the same time, or maybe it's just saying that it's not really as big of a deal as media is making it seem. However the fuck you want to look at it. But at the end of the day, those are the numbers. You have Florida talking about they're going to reopen everything, their whole economy, restaurants and all of that. So if you want to go down to Florida, you can go ham. It don't matter if them COVID-19 cases is going up, it's spiking. That's what they doing. And then over in Virginia, it's crazy because Governor Ralph Northam actually tested positive for having COVID-19, and him and his wife. Now, in Virginia, they actually have a ban against public gatherings of more than 250 people, right? But not too long after he made it was announced that he contracted COVID-19, Trump actually had the rally in Newport News, Virginia, where he was actually talking shit on Ralph Northam. So that's crazy, man. But dude has no respect or honor, none of that. But nevertheless, I guess all this film in war, you know what I mean, and and mudslinging. But that's where we at, though. Green War and Graduation. Streets reporter of the New World, though, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. More on how this COVID-19 pandemic is here in the U.S. or shaping the U.S. SARS-CoV-2, coronavirus disease 2019, at Rona. And make sure you check out Rona, aka BFN World broadcast number 17. Yeah, broadcast number 18 on the way. That's gonna be some fire shit. But and we're going for the radio with that one. But with 17, this is me rapping about like the start of what happened with Corona. Was just had 8,000 deaths globally. You know what I'm saying? You see where we at now, about over 1 million, whatever. So let's not forget how this shit started, because they're gonna try to twist the story the further away we get from this shit. Nevertheless, though, 35,000 jobs are set to be cut from the airline industry by the end of this week, and that actually will stop Congress from funding the paycheck protection of such jobs, which was a requirement of the CARES Act. Remember that $2 trillion bill that they passed that actually ended up putting $1,200 in your pocket and did all of this protection for like these small businesses and all of that, whatever. Well, that's what that's from. That's part of the requirement. So that's out now. Now that money probably ended up in some rich white man pockets, but nevertheless, also in education. In New York City, this is interesting because the Principals Union actually submitted a vote of no confidence in Mayor Bill de Blasio, basically asking that he give the control of the city schools to the state education department. That will basically, and this comes just days before they actually are supposed to start school, which has actually been delayed twice already. So let me paint a picture for y'all. Everybody know what New York City, or get a vibe from New York City. This is mostly a Democratic area, but that's not the case for everywhere outside of New York City. New York is big as shit. You know what I'm saying? The New York State. So that's putting the fate of them people that's in New York City getting, these kids that might be spreading and contracting corona in the hands of people who don't even fucking live there. Green War and Graduation. Police reporter of the New World, though, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. More on how COVID-19 is actually shaping the world. 1 million deaths due to COVID-19 globally. And numbers believed to be higher, as I keep telling y'all, whatever, but that's 33 million infected, you know what I'm saying? And these numbers are obviously rounded, but nevertheless, you have places like in South America, just in Latin America, period, having 5 out of the 10 most infected countries. You know what I'm saying? You got like Mexico with, I think their death toll is at about like 67,000, making them the fourth, having them have the fourth highest death toll in the world. You have 141,000 in Brazil that are deceased due to COVID-19, second only to the U.S. Now, Manaus, this is like the largest city in Brazil's Amazon, actually is trying to get to the bottom of this surge in coronavirus disease that they're seeing, even after there's actually suspected herd immunity once they had saw declines. They thought there was some herd immunity going on, but that's turning out to not be the case with the surge. And also you have in Israel, their 14th straight week of them protesters being out there trying to get Benjamin Netanyahu to actually resign from his prime minister seat that he's actually going to share with Benny Gantz. This is Netanyahu. He's actually facing corruption charges and all of that, whatever. But so people want him out of there for like legit reasons. I think he's shown himself to be racist and all of that, whatever. Nevertheless, he's definitely shown himself to be racist. But nevertheless, you actually have people protesting despite them having like this lockdown that was because they're seeing like such surges in COVID-19. They're the first country to actually impose a second nationwide lockdown, but it's suspected that they was doing that to like stop the protesting. But motherfuckers still out there, trying to get Netanyahu out of there. So are they anti-Semitic too? I'm just wondering. Green War and Graduation.
Streets report out of the New World, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So are we over here in the U.S. bracing for like a civil war? And I know they ain't proper to say that, but don't act like you ain't been thinking about it, you know what I mean? There's a lot of tension over here in the United States. But motherfuckers is getting it on to some of these other countries, you know what I mean? All out war. Like, take for example, Armenia and Azerbaijan, or Azerbaijan, however you would pronounce it. Azerbaijan is how you spell the name of that last country. These two countries sit between like the southernmost tip of Russia and like above like Turkey and Iran and all of that, right? Specifically Iran, between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. Anyway, they actually were warring over disputed territory in the Caucasus Mountains. You know where white people come from. On Sunday, when the fight broke out, 23 people were dead, left dead, 100 wounded after they exchanged tank, artillery, and drone fire. It's the worst violent outbreak that's existed between the two countries since 2016, when they had like a little 5-day war that left 100 people dead. So right now, both countries have declared martial law. Green War and Graduation. Please report out the New World, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Make sure you create a profile on blackfoxnews.com/LPAI. That is LPAI. That is an acronym for Let's Post About It. It's actually our social media platform that we have where you can actually, amid your posting conversations and discussions in these forums, you can actually share documents, files, PDFs, Excels, and all of that. You can upload videos, or YouTube videos or whatever that allow you to actually grasp what somebody is talking about, full articulation capabilities in there, and we can actually build towards something great and some deep and answer some heavy questions like, what are we going to do on November 4th? You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Like, so make sure you create a profile because we got some nation building to do. Now check this out though. Over in Belarus, so this is the country that's in Europe, but right next to Russia. Protests have entered their 7th week, and them people demanding that Alexander Lukashenko, the longtime authoritarian leader, actually resign. Now, scores of protests were arrested, but this is like this dude was actually quietly inaugurated last week. Critics feel like the election that they had last month for dude, or for the national leader position or whatever, were rigged. So the European Union as well as the United States do not acknowledge Lukashenko as the true leader of that country. We'll see what happens. Green War and Graduation. Streets report of the New World, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So off the coast of Libya, there was a boat full of refugees that actually had capsized. 16 are believed to have drowned and passed, and 22 were actually saved. That makes the total number of refugees that have died or drowned or trying to get from Northern Africa to Europe at 620. So people are really trying to get into to Europe and out of fucking Africa. So when you talk about Libya, you're talking about a country that actually is known for modern day slavery, and has been devastated ever since the Obama administration went up in there and took out Muammar Gaddafi. Let's be real. So it's a lot of destabilization in that country, and I'm sure there's other Africans from other nations that are trying to make these crosses too and through Libya. But that's what's going down. Green War and Graduate. Please report out of the world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Lebanon, Prime Minister designate Mustafa Adi, he actually has he stepped down from that position after he failed to form a new government. Now Lebanon has been fucked up, just frankly, and with like a bunch of people wanting reform. After that explosion that happened on August 4th. Remember that shit that went viral? 200 people died from this explosion that happened at the port of Beirut. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you could scroll down to Black Fox News's Instagram page, because we shared it as well, where it actually shows like it's a crazy explosion. 200 people killed, and it led to the collapse of the former government. So we'll see what the future of Lebanon is. Green Wall Graduation. Report out in the world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in El Salvador, in Central America, this is actually crazy, because this is a country that has a long banned abortions. And they had a total ban on abortion since 1998. But at the same time, because of that ban, dozens of women have actually been jailed, imprisoned for having miscarriages and stillbirths. So this story is not much different. And I've reported on it in the past, you probably don't remember, but Cindy Arazo, this is a woman, El Salvadoran, who was actually jailed in 2014 after she had an obstetric emergency and unaware that she was 8 months pregnant. When she woke up with handcuffed to a hospital bed, being accused of having an abortion and aggravated homicide. Well, after 6 years, Arazo has been released. So, we'll see what the future holds for them. And for y'all motherfuckers that's in America that want to ban abortions, I mean, y'all should really look at El Salvador and think like, is that humane? Is that really where you want to take this shit? Green Wall and Graduation though. This report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. We gotta take care of our environment, so I'm always gonna try my best to actually shout out the people that are doing it. This past Friday, they actually had a Global Day of Climate Action, the Friday for Futures activism that's been going on by the youth every Friday. Definitely, like, this is the first time it's happened since coronavirus actually hit the world. But before that, you remember that Swedish teenager, Greta Thunberg? She actually got it started, and then people started joining suit. It's following suit, pardon me. So on Friday, you had thousands of people around the world, thousands of protests, pardon me. So that undermines how many people was actually doing it. But you had thousands of protests around the world, from Uganda to Sweden to Germany, thousands. You know what I'm saying? So that happened. But over here in the United States, actually in Manhattan, New York City, you had activists putting like anti-colonial and environmental messages via projection onto the headquarters of private equity firm KKR to stand in solidarity with the Wet'suwet'en First Nation up there in Canada, because KKR is actually investing in the Coastal GasLink pipeline. This $4.7 billion 400-mile natural gas pipeline that's being built in Western Canada over Wet'suwet'en First Nation land. So you have the land defenders that have been like in a battle trying to get them to stop building that shit. And the solidarity, it means a lot, of raises awareness at the very least. And also, they want KKR to also divest from a company that has come up in the BFN reports before, but not frequently. But it's a company known as Safari Land, which actually creates tear gas. Obviously, that's being used by law enforcement all over the U.S. and around the world, let's be real. And also they make like other crowd control weapons. So we all gotta protect each other, man. Green Wall and Graduation. This report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. New fires actually set ablaze overnight out in Cali. Now y'all been hearing about the wildfires over in Cali. Y'all might even seen the pictures, seeing the sky red and all of that, whatever, on the West Coast. Well, over in Cali, there was these firefighters were struggling dealing with these 24 fires that took place definitely in the Napa and Shasta counties. 10,000 acres being burned, to where homes and wine vineyards were destroyed, and the people got them evacuation orders, so people trying to get the F up out of there. I don't know how people are still there, you know what I'm saying? The sky is red, I need to go to where the sky is blue, you know what I'm saying? But that's just me. But obviously it's never that simple, especially when you don't got the ends or you don't got any family, you know what I mean? So I ain't that apathetic. But check this out though, This is a historic fire season for Cali. You know, they've had wildfires. They're not strangers to wildfires, but 3.4 million acres have been burnt so far. Now, climate scientists are actually saying that that it's the global warming basically that's causing the drying out vegetation, causing droughts, and making California susceptible to like explosive wildfires. Now, over in Stanford University, you actually have researchers that came to find out 1,200 people, and at least 1,200 people, as many as 3,000 have actually died from inhaling the toxic smoke that's come from these wildfires in recent weeks. And that's why at the end of our BFN reports we say green, war, and graduation. Please report out in the world of the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Now, over in our government, a federal judge has actually blocked the William Perry Penley, the acting director of the Interior Department's Bureau of Land Management, blocked him from being able to serve his position. Now, I say acting director. That means Trump handpicked this person and said, here, you work this position and you get to bypass Senate confirmation. Just because I picked you and I think you're good for the party, you can work here. Now, do we really trust Trump to put the proper people in these acting positions, which are there for emergencies or when people resign or need to be fired and all of that, whatever, the revolving door of this Trump administration. Nevertheless, they blocked him from it, saying that he's serving this position unlawfully. Now, keep in mind that last month, 300 organizations actually signed on to a letter demanding that the Senate actually remove him from a position, saying that he, talking about his radical anti-environmental and anti-conservation positions. You know what I'm saying? Even including calling the Endangered Species Act a joke. He's also known to have said basically bad things about immigrants and communities of color, indigenous communities, and all of that. So they want to get him the fuck out of here. But apparently the Interior Department is planning on appealing the ruling. But that's Trump mania, man. Green Wall and graduation. Report out the New World Order. Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Make sure you check out blackfoxnews.com. I ain't even gonna put no slash, you know what I mean? Check out the whole website, you know what I mean? It's something for you there, and it's a lot of good info, including these BFN reports. If you were to go to blackfoxnews.com/broadcast /news, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But nevertheless, you actually have, at the 11th hour last night, a federal judge placing an injunction, basically, pumping the brakes on Trump's executive order banning the TikTok from being in online stores in the U.S. TikTok is owned by Chinese company ByteDance. So it's getting caught up in this trade war between that I would say was started by the Trump administration between the U.S. and China. Some might say it was a necessary war. Some might say it's not. Nevertheless, this actually was supposed to be a first step towards a total ban of the app. And the complete ban is still set to take place on November 12th. We'll see how that turns out. Green Wall and graduation. Streets report out in the world of the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So good news for the people, power to the people, you digs. But good news for the people in Philly, where you actually have city officials. They have agreed to hand over 50 vacant homes to a community land trust that's actually going to be run by the Philadelphia Housing Action. This is a organization that actually led this direct action of protest. These people have been protesting for months, unhoused people, been occupying vacant homes, putting protest encampments outside of these homes, and trying to bring awareness, you got all these empty housing and all of these people that need housing, basically, you know what I mean? Similar to what's been going on in Cali as well, but over in Philly it's bad. And, so with these homes, you're talking about 50 homes that they're going to have at this community land trust. Also, 50 moms and their daughters that were actually occupying 15 homes will be allowed to just stay in these homes. So you have activists like Sterling Johnson, who's actually an organizer for the Black and Brown Workers Cooperative, who welcome the idea, but basically this is only the first step. You know what I mean? And as he said, there's actually probably like 1,000 or more houses that are low income housing, that's units that are needed in order to like really rectify the housing situation in Philly, where you have people that are about to be laid off due to COVID-19, been laid off due to COVID-19, not about to be evicted. You know what I mean? Not able to pay their rent and all of that, whatever. So the situation could get dire, but that is a step in the right direction. Green Wall and graduation, though.